Day one, or step one, what you're going to be asking yourself is, what is my intention? Day one is all about intention. Step one is all about intention. You have to lay an intention. So right now, everyone, you can close your eyes, you can keep your eyes open, but just for a few seconds, 5-10 seconds, set and establish an intention. What is an intention? A foundation, the things that you would like to receive. All right. Ask yourself, when you establish this intention, why am I here? Why are you here? You're here for a reason. If you can't identify the reason for you being here, you should probably leave. If you are not necessarily knowing consciously of the reason, but you know that there is a reason that your soul puts you here, it serves for you to stay, for you to figure out what that reason is. Another question to ask yourself to establish a strong foundation of strong intention is, what serves for you to receive from this? You being in this type of space, you hearing me talk about you're going to be enlightened in 7 steps and or 7 days. What serves for you to receive from that? Some people say, I want to do magic. Other people say, I want to manifest. Other people say, I just want to have a better relationship with God. Other people say, I just want to have a better relationship with myself. I want to love myself. Or have a more niceness with myself. Whatever the case may be. All right? Whatever the case may be. You ask yourself, what serves for you to receive? In addition to asking yourself, why are you here? This is how you establish an intention. You establish an intention by asking yourself, why are you here? What serves for you to receive? And then particularly, you apply the current situation. The current situation is this course, the 7-day and or 7-step course, is about enlightenment. I'm a spiritual master. I'm a son of God. I know for a physact, if you apply all this information, you will be enlightened, because you already are enlightened. Because I'm not actually giving you new information. I'm a son of God, but y'all heard the saying, there's nothing new under the sun. That applies to you too, for the sun rays hit all. Everything I'm telling you is something you already know. Everything I'm telling you is something you already know. All I'm doing is guiding you to remember. So, establish an intention. Why are you here? You can say it out loud. You can say it in your mind's eye. What serves for you to receive? And in what is enlightenment to you? I cannot define enlightenment for you. For some people, enlightenment is magic. For other people, enlightenment is just having a better relationship with God and or self. So you have to establish these things in order for you to have a foundation, what we call an intention. Okay, that is step one. That is day one. This can consist of a whole day, because this is very, very important. This is why I'm asking everyone to add your notes, write your notes, get your notebooks, because this is not for the weak-hearted or the faint. All right? I'm teaching you spiritually. I'm teaching you spiritual enlightenment, spiritually guiding yourself to recognizing the remembrance that's already within you, understanding that all of the words that I'm saying is something that you already know. All I'm doing is just guiding you to remember it. So, establishing a strong intention, contrary to what people of the New Age community in the spiritual world like to say, sometimes an intention takes a full day. That's why I said in the 7-day and or 7-step enlightenment course, if you don't move on the step route and you choose the day route, don't try to rush an intention. An intention is your spiritual security. That's what an intention is, your spiritual security. So if it takes you a full day to ask yourself, why are you here? Why are you listening to me talk? If it takes you a full day to ask yourself, what serves for me to receive from this? Do I want to be like Jesus, or do I want to be like a person that's just nice? If it takes you a full day to ask yourself, what is enlightenment? Because these are not just easy questions. Because if you already knew these questions as fast as I asked them, you probably wouldn't even be here. So don't stress if you have to write day one or step one down and say, hey, I'm going to set that aside because I'm just gathering the information for me to apply this at a later date. That's perfectly fine. Let's move on to step 2, aka day 2. Remember, there's 2 pathways you can get to this enlightenment. You can do this in 7 days, or you can do this in 1 day with 7 steps. Same destination, okay? divine laws and hypocrisy. All right? So what you have to understand about divine laws, we're going to be going over 7 divine laws. And let me explain to you a little bit more about divine laws. So divine laws, a lot of people, especially in this new age, they're able to somewhat understand what a divine law is. They probably have heard somebody speak of a divine law, but a lot of people don't even know either how to access a divine law. A lot of people don't even know what the Akashic Records is. They think it's just purely a library, but that is just a form that we put on the Akashic Records. Akashic Records actually has no form. It's actually literally not a library, but because humans see a place that has a lot of information as a library, that is how it is perceived within many people's eyes. But it's not actually a library. People, it serves for you to understand what a divine law. A divine law is understanding first at a foundation the concepts of as above, so below. If you can understand the concepts of as above, so below, you will have a much easier time registering and recognizing what is a divine law and what is a normal law, aside from the governmental laws. So what is as above, so below? As above, so below is the concept and or idea of all happening in the spirit world existing and is, and what humans would consider first. And based on the spirit world happening first, then it's a trickle down effect into the physical world, because the physical world operates in the construction of what people call time. So as above, so below is like this. If I'm teaching you right now, which I am, that means you've already experienced this class in the spirit world. Hence why your soul even aligned you to be here physically. Hence why we say nothing new is under the sun. Hence why we say you remember, because you already know. Because quite literally, based on what as above, so below means, if you're hearing it with physical ears, if you're hearing it in the flesh, you experienced it in spirit. How do we know this? Because the spirit world holds the physical world together. How do we know that? When you leave the physical body, you default to the spiritual world. It's not the other way around. If you find a way to leave the spiritual world, you don't immediately incarnate within a body. That is a choice that you make. It's a choice. But what we cannot refute is if you leave the physical body, you default into the spirit world. That is just what happens. So that means that the spirit world is actually holding the physical world together. Hence, as above, so below. So, why is it important for you to understand as above, so below, for you to try to anchor what a divine law is? As above, so below blends these concepts of spirit and physicality. It blends the concepts of your soul and your flesh. And if you're interpreting what is divinity with the flesh, you have to have some type of spirit idea or concept within you. And the easiest one to grasp is as above, so below, because that plants a seed that rests in your subconsciousness that expands your perspective much more. So a divine law, in essence, is something, an energy, a frequency, some form of what you would consider energy, frequency, that cannot be dismissed. It can't be altered. It is what it is. Like, for example, two things can't exist in one place at once. That's one divine law. Even though I'm going to give you 7 divine laws specifically, I'm just going to give you one divine law. Two things can't exist at once. Well, I mean, I kind of know that, Nadiie, because my name is Nadiie. I kind of know that, Nadiie. Well, how is that a divine law? It's a divine law because you can actually apply that into spiritual practices. For example, if you're trying to shift the way you think, two things can exist at once. You can't have two thoughts simultaneously. It's one thought or another thought. This is actually something that the Essenes, I'm not going to dive too deep into the Essenes, just know the Essenes are teachers of Jesus, the original teachers of Jesus, aside from what is esoteric, even though they're esoteric, but they're in physical form. The Essenes understood this, and it's actually within a lot of their scrolls and tablets, these properties. But if you are shifting your thoughts, which is a very, very big force for visualization and manifesting, and you're trying to go from something that's more ego-based or hate-based or dense-based into something that's more love-based, if you just know the divine law of two things can exist at once, if you just primarily focus on loving thoughts, that means you actually don't have room for anything hateful. I mean, it's really that simple. If you prioritize loving thoughts, you actually don't have room for hateful because of the divine law, two things can exist at once. So me, throughout the day, I will just think loving things, think of loving music, all of these type of things, because it's going to occupy my mind and fill and overwhelm my mind. You have to get to the point where you're overwhelming your mind with love. Because you can get in an emotional trigger if somebody cuts you off in the road and you not even expect it. It's not like you're asking for it. Somebody can cut you off and you can just feel some type of way. It's not like you're asking, it just came. How did it come? Why did it come? Someone can cuss you out, so you can be rubbed the wrong way. You know how we just rub the wrong way sometimes? How and why do these things happen? These things happen because you're not overwhelming yourself with love. You're not overwhelming your mind with love. That's why it serves for you at any given moment to think of loving things. Think of what makes you happy. It's actually a skill. Some people will be like, no, that sounds too easy. Then do it. And I can guarantee you it would be a task if you haven't already done it. So let me actually go through some divine laws so you can have a little bit more structure. Because day 2 in this 7-day course for enlightenment, day 2 or step 2, is about divine laws and hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is a big one. You will never survive. Are you tapped in, bro? I am not the person to tell you whether I'm tapped in or not. Allow what is presented to guide you to a realization of whether I'm for you or not for you. Because I have an experience of my own, but it's not up for me to impose my experience on you. You have to create an experience based on what you're perceiving of what you think I am. By the will of Source, that answered your question. But hypocrisy and day 2. But hypocrisy and day 2 and or step 2 for the 7-day or 7-step for enlightenment is something that you really have to focus on. You cannot be hypocritical. You cannot be hypocritical. Hypocrites do not last well within the spiritual community. They don't even last well within spiritual practices. We'll get into that a little later. So make sure you write these notes down if you have notes, because this is the 7-day course and or 7-step course for enlightenment. I promise you will be enlightened after these 7 days. Or 7 steps, because you can do it in one day. It just depends on how you want to maneuver. Within step 2, aka day 2, divine laws and hypocrisy, I'm going to give you 7 divine laws. I'm going to give you 7 divine laws channeled directly from the source, directly from God, through me. Also, we're going to be talking about what not to do and be. The best way you can kind of figure out where you got to go on the spiritual path is by knowing what not to do. Not to move towards what not to do, just so you're aware. And if you so choose to move towards what I say don't do, then that's your choice. And then we're going to be explaining why these things are important. You have wonderful energy, so do you. We are very grateful. So, 7 divine laws. All right, get your notes. We're going to be speeding through them. I spent multiple days. He said, I'm a reader that talks to angels. You got them protecting. Don't fumble this, bro. I love you. I'm very much so aware of what's going on. So I'm going to give you 7 divine laws. I'm not going to really stop on all of them because I already had like 2-3 classes where I dedicated the entire class to the divine laws. Get your notes together. I'll repeat them like 2-3 times, but we got to move through this. So remember, we're on day 2, aka step 2, for the 7-day enlightenment course. All right, remember day one was your intention. Why are you here? What serves to receive? What is enlightenment to you? In order for you to establish an intention, you ask yourself step one, aka day one, your intention. You establish it. Why are you here? What serves to receive? What is enlightenment? Step two to the 7-day enlightenment course or 7-step enlightenment course is divine laws and hypocrisy. First part is the seven divine laws. So, law number one, we're going to be talking about this. What you see is what you are, and what you are is what you see. This is law number one, divine law number one. What you see is what you are, and what you are is what you see. Quick answer to your comment. I understand all that serves, and if anything is present, know that is ordained by God itself. Divine law number two, existence is, and that which exists not has never been. All right, so divine law number one is what you see is what you are is what you see. Been. All right, so divine law number one is what you see is what you are is what you see. Just because you said that, just because you said that, I'm gonna show you something else. Just to tell you, hey, like, it's me. You don't have to try to bring forth any what you think things that will benefit. Baby, we got Archangel Metatron right there. Don't even, baby, we got Archangel Metatron right. Don't even. But remember, sacred geometry. Remember, sacred geometry is not archangels themselves. This is what people have to understand. Don't get so caught up in physical things in this world. Physical things, just having sacred geometry around you ain't gonna make you a better person. Just having sacred geometry around you ain't gonna make you more or less spiritual. These beings flow through me. So let's continue. What you see is what you are is what you see. I'm giving you 7 divine laws. What you see is what you are is what you see. Let me give you 7 divine laws. What does that mean? I'll go over that one a little bit more. It's pretty much like reality is based upon perception. We already know this. Reality is based upon perception. What you see is actually going to be giving you a pool of actions of your own doing. For example, if you see and think somebody is stealing, that means your perception of what's happening is there's a thief around, and your actions are going to be given to you based on the perception that you have that there's a thief around. What you see is what you are. Now, hold on. What you are is what you see. If you are making judgments, why do you think they say judge another, judge yourself? If you're making judgments without any proof, without any truth, without any love or anything, you calling somebody a thief actually makes you a thief, because you're stealing the truth from yourself as long as that person is not actually a thief. A lot of the times our judgments and our hates, even the people that may be asking or giving advice out of love, you also have to understand that judging is judging across the board. If you think things should be done one way and you're saying that it's not done in this way, you're actually judging. Because if you go in your heart center and look at everything with the eyes of love, actually say this prayer, aka divine statement, out loud. God, guide me to seeing as you see, or source, because source quite literally translates to the originator, the origin. That's why a lot of spirits, almost all the spirits, call God the source, because God is the actual title that some beings have, and they don't want their words to be confused and sent to them. Nah, I'm going straight to the source, the originator, the creator of all. Ask God to guide you to seeing as it sees, and that will guide you to having a much more fuller experience. That's what Divine Law 1 is all about. Divine Law 2, we're going to go through them. Existence is, and that which exists not has never been. Your purpose is your existence. God made you for a reason. If you had no reason to exist, by definition of no reason to exist, you would not exist. So if you ever struggle with your purpose, allow this to awaken you right now and just skip past all of this. God made you for a reason. That's why you exist. If you had no reason to exist, by definition, this is not even spiritual, baby. This is not even spiritual. This is just pure definitions. By definition of no point of existing, meaning if you have no point in existing, you wouldn't exist. So you existing shows that there's a reason behind it. And if the creator, the source, God, created you, which is the allower of existence, hey, God ordained your existence, which means you're here for a reason. Divine law number 3 is the source is. Isness is a word for existence. Isness is a word for presence, being, all of that. Isness. The source is. Is a very powerful word that a lot of humans look over because it's just 2 letters. But understand the power of it. Divine law number 4. All be from that which the source is. All be from that which the source is. And for all the ones that have to hear this, complain or don't complain, bring advice or don't bring advice, I'm just happy you're complaining in heaven and bringing forth advice in heaven, bringing forth advice in heaven. Hey, be here. Heaven is a mind state, is a concept. It's not what a lot of people think it is, unless you want to think it is. I'm not arguing with you because you have free will to think how you think. Divine law number 4. All be from that which the source is. This is divine law number 4. All be from that which the source is. Basically saying, baby, you come from God. No one can take that from you. What did Kendrick Lamar say? No, you a God even if they say you ain't. He said that on the first song of G-Next. When he said that, I'm like, oh my God, finally. Something that's mainstream that people can listen to. That actually plants seeds. And he put it in the hook. That's intentional. I'm an artist. One of the best artists you will ever know. The fact that Kendrick Lamar put that line in the hook lets us know that there's a shift in music going on. Even if, he has to do what he has to do, just know that there's a shift going on. Divine law number 5. Now is the only opportunity from the source. Easy proof, easy proofs. Easy proofs. You can't actually live in the past. You can't actually live in the future. Where are you living at? Now is the only opportunity from the source. That's divine law number 5. Now. If you want to change your life, do it now. They say in stories where Yeshua was a carpenter. This is the stories, right? They say in the stories, Yeshua was once a carpenter, and then suddenly, in a moment, he decided, this is now the new path I'm walking on, the path that you know. It took one day, one moment. There wasn't no pondering. Even if there were pondering, even if there was pondering, you still, in a singular moment, have to make a decision to change your life. You can't escape the now. You can escape the past, or you can escape the future because they don't exist. But you cannot escape the now. Divine law number 6, love is the only way to miracles, and love is the experience the source offers. More proofs for this, more proofs from this, and for this is pray to God right now, and I can almost guarantee, I'm going to say almost because some people like to lie to themselves, and we forgive them for they know not. But for the ones that see the truth, pray to God right now. And for the ones that see the truth, no, I can guarantee that you're never going to experience anything other than love. You can pray to God right now and not feel like someone is just put a hit out on your head. I mean, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. All of the things and energies they place upon God, that's all human things. If you really think about what beings of humanity that construct, certain type of infrastructures, really look at what they're putting on God. They're putting traits and character traits and personality traits and all of that on God that they are. Judgmental, hateful, all of that, right? It reminds me of what Neil deGrasse Tyson said as it pertains to aliens. He was like, the reason why a lot of humans in power are afraid of aliens, and the reason why all of these alien movies are about abductions and world dominance is because the humans that are in power are afraid that the aliens are going to do to them what they done to their own. So they project. It's all projection. People project their qualities on a God because they can't actually imagine something being infinite. One. Humans can't even imagine. If I say count now and don't stop, at some point you're going to try to stop. And I'm like, well, that's not God, because God don't stop. God don't stop loving. God don't stop loving. And then divine law number 7. Be not of flesh to experience the source. Be not of environment to experience the source. Be not of ignorance to experience the source, for the source is not of a world. God don't have a body. That's why we say be not of flesh to experience the source. God don't have a body. God doesn't speak with you with a mouth. It doesn't hear with ears. You don't have a body. You don't have no form. It's formed from formlessness. It has no form. If I say draw a picture of what God looks like, you don't know. No one knows. So if you think of relying on your senses is going to connect you to God, you're actually distancing yourself from it, because God within it of itself has no form. So stop relying on your form. Precisely why you will hear Jesus say, the kingdom of heaven is within you in Luke 17:21. Why? Let's move on to be not of environment to experience the source, a part of divine law number 7. Reason being is God not only doesn't have a form, it has no eyes, no lips, no ears, no nose. It also doesn't have a destination. You can't give me coordinates to God, no matter how hard you try. Oh, but God is in heaven. Who told you that? And if that was the case, look, even if that was the case, you can't even give me coordinates to heaven. You can only tell me what you think. You can only tell me what you think will get people to heaven. You can't actually give me coordinates to heaven, because God has no actual destination. That's why we say, in order for you to reach God, to communicate to God, why do you think Jesus would say in Luke 17:21, the kingdom of heaven is within you? Think about what that is. Really think about what within is. Everyone close your eyes. Everyone close your eyes right now. Everyone close your eyes. 3, 2, 1, eyes closed. Give me coordinates for this place. Open your eyes, everyone. Open your eyes. Hold on. Open your eyes. 3, 2, 1, close your eyes. Everyone, give me coordinates for this place. Close your eyes. Give me coordinates for this place. You have none. If in the divine law 7 it says, be not of environment to experience the source, and you know you can't give me any coordinates that leads you to God, but there is one location that you know how to get to, but don't know any coordinates to it, that means there's no destination. It's just something that's within you that was given to you. When we say go within, you somehow know what to do. Have you ever really thought about that? I'm actually waking you up. I'm in a position to tell you. I'm in a position to tell you openly. I'm a son of God. So I don't want to abide by the same rules as all these other spiritual teachers that just want to grab money from you. No. Have you ever really thought about, when someone asks me to go within, I actually know where to go. Yet I can't actually give people coordinates for what within is. Oh, that's why Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within you. And that's why another son of God is telling you in divine law number 7, be not of environment to experience the source. Why? Because when you go within, because you know the source has no destination, you know God has no destination. When you go within a place with no destination, that's where God is. Some people hear that and think God is them. Some people hear that and think God is not them. Wherever you land, as long as you go within, you'll be able to experience God. Or, at the very least, if you go to a place that has no destination, I promise you God will meet you there if you call for it. Be not of ignorance to experience the source. What does that mean? What does be not of ignorance mean to experience the source? Be not of ignorance means is this. It's okay to not know. Not knowing is okay. We are humans. Dun, 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 dun. We're humans. So there are some things that our mind literally cannot handle. Some humans want to be egotistical and say, I know it all. then tell me what infinity means, not by definition, but by example. You can't. That's, if you're dealing with a spiritual narcissist, tell them that. Oh, you're so powerful. Then tell me and show me what infinity is without definition, not by defining it, but through example. If those people actually know what you're asking them, they will humble themselves and say that that's not possible for a human to actually display infinity. Maybe a fifth dimensional being, maybe any being that's not of flesh. But humans naturally have limitations that we have to work around, that we have to what we call transmute. So it's okay to not know. What's not okay, though, what's not okay is to hear truth or be interested in not knowing. What's not okay is to hear truth and not be interested in pursuing it, or to just wholeheartedly be interested in not caring about any revelation, any truth. When people hear the word revelation, their mind immediately goes to religion, but they don't understand that that's an actual word. Revelation is a revealing. But if I said the word revealing, you wouldn't have a religious connotation to it. Revealing and revelation is the same thing. Something suddenly happening to you that is profound, that only you can describe and experience. That's revelation. Much deeper than an epiphany. I guess you can call it a profound epiphany. For the source is not of this world. So to read the entire divine law, number 7, be not of flesh to experience the source, be not of environment to experience the source, be not of ignorance to experience the source, for the source is not of a world. By all these other divine laws, you should already know by now that God does not exist in any world. It's self-explanatory. Now, let's move on to step or day 3. Let's move on to step or day 3. Step or day 3 of the 7-day course or 7-step course. Some people are going to take 7 days. Some people are going to take 7 steps. They can do it in one day. There is no right or wrong. Do what serves for you. Don't overwhelm yourself. Just do what serves for you. Remember, step 1 and or day 1 is you lay an intention down. Why are you here? These are things you ask yourself in order to establish an intention. If you ever wondered like, how do I establish an intention? These are the things that you do in order to establish an intention. You ask yourself, why are you here? Why are you in any given moment? Why are you there? You ask yourself that. Then you ask yourself, what serves to receive? What that translates into is, well, what would I like from this? How does this benefit me? What serves to receive from the place that you are establishing an intention in? The third question you ask yourself is indicative of the actual experience you're experiencing. In this case, the question is, what is enlightenment? For this is a 7-day course for enlightenment or 7-step course for enlightenment if you choose to do this all in one day. You have to have discipline. You have to be disciplined. What is enlightenment to you? I am not the definer or the decider of your life. I am a son of God. I am a Christ. I am God's will based on my own experience, based on what has been told to me in the spirit world, based on my Akashic records. That is all my experience, though. You have to be the one to decide whether enlightenment is the thing that I'm on, the path that I'm on, or maybe enlightenment is being a great cook, so much so that you've discovered a new ability to put light into food, and now people are not just tasting your food, they're becoming awakened because you're food. Oh, you thought that wasn't possible. You can't call God infinite and then say God can't do something. Because remember, the light is still God. God is in all things. You can be a light worker cook and make food that is so good with so much intention and love that it actually enlightens people the exact same way I'm doing in this normal teacher and student fashion. It's possible because nothing is impossible with God. Remember, day 2, aka step 2, is divine laws and hypocrisy. The 7 divine laws I went over with you. What not to do and be, which we explained. And we'll explain further and why these are important. Divine laws are important because they establish some structure for you. If you have no structure of what to move by, divine law number 1, what you see is what you are is what you see. If you abide by that divine law, you become less judging in your life. I'm so not judging in my life. People ask me to judge certain situations. Allow that to sit. But there's more. What not to do and be if you're on this spiritual path is very, very simple. What not to do and be? Don't be a dickhead. It's that simple. It's really that simple. If you are a nice person, you are far beyond the person that knows how to do magic. I've taught magic in my mystery school. Make sure y'all donate. Make sure y'all send your love donations. Make sure you don't just listen to this and, oh, this is cool, and start doom scrolling. No, go onto my page, click the link in my bio, and you'll see everything I do. Don't act like God ain't sent you one of them ones your way. Nah, my goal is to guide you to seeing yourself as God sees you. If you ever want to hear my transparent intention, that's my goal, to guide you to seeing yourself as God sees you. I'm not the provider of anything in your life, whether you think I taught you something or not. It's of my duty to remind you that you already had this in you. And it's also my duty to remind you that you have no excuse. There's no excuse. You can prolong it as long as you want, as long as you have action in place. There's no excuse. So don't listen to this if you're actually not going to apply it. I will kick you out. Because I'm that serious with God. I'm that serious with the source. I don't play. Leave. If you're actually not going to apply this information. If you think I'm just saying cool words and or what have you, leave. Because there are people with their first eye open and actually see me for what I am and actually are saying, hey, thank you, God, for answering my prayer today. I asked for someone to actually steer me in a direction for me to remember. Now, that's why this is important. Let's move on to day 3, aka step 3. Day 3, aka step 3. We're gonna fly through these. Make sure you get your intentions in order, your screen recordings in order, your notes, your notebooks, because we're flying through this. And we want to have as many lives as possible. But remember, first seek the kingdom of heaven. When I leave in a timely manner, make sure you follow me, set the notification bell up. That's you actively seeking. You can not even watch any of my videos. I mean, I recommend you do, but you don't have to. But when I go live again, because I'm going to be teaching this for a while. This is a course. Well, anytime I go live, I'm going to be trying to teach this as much as I possibly can. Right now, I've got some crunch time. Day 4, aka step 4. Power of perception. You have to understand the power of your perception. You have to understand the power of your perception. When you're trying to figure out why people say reality is based upon perception, ask yourself these. Okay, why judgment serves not? Why does it not serve to judge people? Ask yourself, why shouldn't I trust with my eyes? Why to trust not with eyes? And I'm going to actually give you a 3 perception reality method. I'm going to give you a modality. What a modality means is a technique, a skill. But a modality is a fancy spiritual word for gift. I'm going to give you a gift in this one for day 4. Or step 4 if you choose to do this all today. Power of perception. Judge yourself. You judge another, you judge yourself. It serves not to bring forth judgments. Some people say use discernment. Some people say discernment is still judging. Judging is essentially you utilizing what English and the world, the society has taught you about labeling and describing. If you're describing anything, and even if you're calling an ice cream cone, you're judging it. If you're describing anything with the ways the world taught you to describe things, you are judging. This hasn't been taught like this in eons. I'm giving you ancient level gifts. First, we're going to give you a gift of the mind, as we say, right? Then we're going to give you a tangible gift that you can use. I'm feeling like that landed with a lot of people because a lot of you are spiritually awake. So we're going to move on. Why to trust not with the eyes? It actually goes into what we said before. Why to trust not with the eyes? Because God didn't guide you to see in the way that you're seeing right now. Because if God did guide you in the way that you're seeing right now, you would be seeing the spirit world, which holds this reality together. Remember, we established that we know as above, so below, that we know the spirit world exists first, and everything you do in the physical world already exists in the spiritual world. Even if you think about $1 million, that means you received abundance. Even though the dollar bill, y'all, doesn't exist in the spiritual world, what translates is the energy behind what a dollar is, which is abundance. Which means if you're asking for $1 million, it immediately appears, not the money, the abundance, what it represents. In the spirit world, how do we know? When you leave the physical reality, you go to the spirit world. It's not the other way around, which means the spirit world holds the physical world together. So don't trust with your eyes. I'm going to give you a 3 perception reality method. Screen record, take your notes. We're going to be going live probably tomorrow as well. I'm going to try to make sure I keep these hour-long lives. We got a little over 11 minutes left, so we're going to try to really, go deep into this. But 3 perception reality method, and any scenario that you are in, any scenario, especially scenarios that you deem as triggering scenarios or emotional driven scenarios, experiences in your life, I recommend you use what I call the 3 perception reality method. What is the 3 perception reality method? The 3 perception reality method is you look at what's going on and you give it the experience that's currently happening. For example, if someone smacks you, okay, reality 1, I just got smacked. Now it's your job to create 2 new realities, complete different realities, for how it could be beneficial and detrimental. That's the 3 perception reality method. So the 3 perception reality method is any given scenario, especially if you're triggered or you're going through an emotional driven experience, you ask yourself, all right, let's do the 3 perception reality method so I can just balance myself. And it actually opens your mind, because what you're doing with this is you're actually using subconscious energy. That's a whole nother class, but you have to understand the power of the subconsciousness. If you're interested to get some more information on the power of the subconsciousness, I will provide videos after the fact. But if you just do research on Dolores Cannon, QHHT, which means Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique, Dolores Cannon, she literally taps into the subconsciousness. You can see just by reading and researching her work, the power of subconsciousness, right? But you're utilizing subconsciousness energy when you're not immediately being reactionary, and you're allowing your mind to allow 3 realities to present itself. The reality you're currently thinking you're experiencing when something happens, that reactionary intent, which causes a reality. Then now you're tasked to create 2 new realities of how it can be extremely beneficial and how whatever you're going through is extremely detrimental. And then now with those 3 realities, you choose which one you move in. Let's move on to day number 5, or step 5 if you choose to do the 7-day enlightenment course in 1 day. Day or step 5, fasting is required. Fasting is required. Do your screen recording, do your notes, do your etheric notebooks. Fasting is required. Why is fasting required? What is fasting? You can do a food fast, you can do a mental fast, you can do an emotional fast. What is a food fast? That's pretty much what we all know. I don't really have to dive deep. It's common sense. We know what a food fast is. If you want to hear some, you can do a juicing fast, drinking only juice. You can do a watermelon fast. You can do a water fast. You can do a dry fast, which is no liquid intake, no shower, no nothing. And I'm talking about you will lose a lot of weight but gain a lot of clarity, but be careful. Like a 2 to 3 day water fast is like a 2 to 3 day dry fast is like a 10-day water fast. It's intense. I've done multiple of them. I lost like 15 pounds in almost 2 weeks. Like, it gets really intense. It gets really intense. But you can literally off yourself by not properly listening to your body. When your body says dry fast over, and it really is saying dry fast over, get some water in you. But when you got to condition yourself, baby steps, do a 1 day dry fast, and then do some fruit or vegetable fast. All of that, right? Fasting is required. You can do a food fast, a mental fast, an emotional fast. I talked about the food fast. Let's talk about the mental fast. You can do a food fast as in a fruit fast, a vegetable fast. What is a fast? That means you're solely focusing on this. You're only eating fruits for any particular amount of days, 7 days, 3 days, only fruits, nothing else. I'm not even water. Just a fast is what you say is what it is what it is. Watermelon fast, people lose tons of weight with that, gain lots of clarity with watermelon fast, or H3O2 fast. You can incorporate cucumbers or anything high in water. That means H3O2, any fruit high in water. Okay, you could do a mental fast, right? A mental fast is no phone for 3 days, no technology for 3 days, or 7 days, right? Oh, you mean I can't have my phone? See, if you had a knee-jerk reaction, if you had a knee-jerk reaction to that, you are addicted and you must do a fast. Fasting is required, whatever type of fast it is. Whether it's a health fast, whether it's a digital fast, fasting is required. If you've already done food fast, your fruits or your veggies, whatever your fast is, juicing or whatnot, you must do a mental fast. If you cannot just do, I'm going to say it like this. If you're only capable of doing food and health fast, you're going to have a very hard time with spirituality. Fasting is required. You must do a mental fast. You must show yourself mind over matter. You must show yourself, I can survive not having my phone for 3 days. Not just 1 day, because you can accidentally leave your phone somewhere or your phone die and you don't have it for the whole day. That's not a fast. A fast is an intention. This is what I'm doing. This is my plan. I'm starting this day. Go on a 3-day no phone. That's one version of a mental fast. Another version of a mental fast is no use of profanity for a few days. One way, another mental fast, no use of profanity for 3 days. Another mental fast is not allowing yourself to be emotional or triggered or arguing for 3 days. No emotional triggers or arguments for 3 days. How do I just stop myself from being triggered? Use the 3 reality method. That's why these are all in multiple days and multiple steps. For the people that want to do all of this in 1 day, you better have discipline. You better act like you Jesus, buddy. Because it will be beneficial if you know you're not that, to do this in 7 days. But if you think you are that, all right, go up to the task. Try to do this in 7 days. Or do it in 7 steps if you really think about that. An emotional fast kind of ties into what we're saying. Emotional fast is not being so excited, not being so much in anything besides love. An emotional fast is you're avoiding yourself of every other emotion besides love. You're literally defaulting yourself to whatever you think God is. And universally across humanity, we all know that God gives us love and nothing but love. So an emotional fast is a deep level fast. It's actually in a fast that the Essenes used. Very, very powerful groups. Very, very powerful groups did emotional fast. They didn't allow themselves to feel any other emotion besides intense, perfect love. I'm not the decider of what love is for you. What I would say is go pray to God. Go long prayers. Do long meditations where you're not doing anything besides talking to God in that meditation. And whatever you're receiving from God, be that for 3 days, 7 days. All right, that's the fasting. Day 6, we're almost done. We're almost done. Day 6, we got 4 more minutes. Self-discovery. Day 6 is all about self-discovery. And I echo these seeds throughout this 7-day course. And make sure that you follow me. And not only follow me, for all those that follow me, make sure you click the notification if the notification bell is there so you're aware of when I go live. Because I'm going to be repeating all of this. We only got 4 more minutes left. I'm going to be teaching this class. It's a very, very powerful class, right? But self-discovery, I'm not the deciding factor of what is or what is not for you. All I do is provide you with what they call the word is. All I do is provide you with the gifts that God has given me, and you make a decision based on what you want to throw out and what you want to keep. All I'm saying is everything I'm telling you, I first did myself, and this is how it turned out. All I'm saying is everything I'm telling you, I first did myself. And this is how I turned out, and I'm pretty cool. But I'm not the decider of what happens in your experience. Maybe a fast isn't built for you right now. Like, for example, a food fast. Maybe you can't do a food fast right now because what you think your health is or whatnot, but you could do a mental fast, though. Regardless, fasting is required. You don't have to do a food fast. You don't have to do an emotional fast. You could do one out of the three. Self-discovery, though. During day 6 and or step 6, if you want to do this in one day, the self-discovery is what would you like to be remembered for and why? Self-discovery. In order for you to go throughout this self-discovery process, you have to ask yourself these questions. Be honest with you. When have you actually asked yourself this question? What do I want to be remembered for and why? I mean, like, not just asking yourself it in passing. I mean, really, like, really. Another question, right? Ask yourself, really, like, really. Another question, right? Ask yourself, what have you done to lead you to said remembrance? What have you done to actually lead you to what you want to be remembered for? What have you actually done? Like, be honest. This ain't for you to try to prove nothing to me. Talk to yourself. That's why this day 6 or step 6 is self-discovery. Talk to yourself. What do I want to be remembered for? 1. And then 2, what have I actually done to lead to said remembrance? And then 3, when was the last moment you actually applied yourself to these goals? Be honest. This is about spiritual integrity. You ain't got nothing else to prove but for yourself. Spiritual integrity. When was the last moment you actually applied yourself to the goals that you set, to your legacy? And then last day, day 7, magic and miracles. We're going to be talking about how to attract miracles, why manifestation has pros and cons. We're going to be using a money example, and why does magic not translate into enlightenment? Again, that last part, why does magic not translate into enlightenment? All right, magic and miracles, day 7 or step 7. Remember, we're going to be doing this multiple times. So, yeah, we got a lot of gifts to be giving you. But how to attract miracles? It's that simple. We said it in divine law number 6. That's why everything is intertwined with one another. Love is the only way to miracles, and love is the experience the source offers. That is divine law number 6. That is how you actually attract miracles. Love is not just saying I love you. Love is you reflecting back everything God gives you to another person. That's the best way we can explain what love is. God ain't going to argue with nobody. God ain't going to get triggered. God ain't going to raise his voice. God ain't going to do anything that is what you would consider negative. So reflect that. That's how you attract miracles. Remember, miracles is the great undoer. Miracles brings you back to 0 and tells you choose again, okay? Miracles bring you back to 0 and tells you choose again. Miracles does not actually give you anything. It's a great resetter. It resets everything and tells you, all right, have at it again. Again, because God gives you second and third and infinite chances. Why manifesting has pros and cons. That was the timer. So we're going to go through Divine Law 7, right? And we're going to go through step 7. So Divine Law 7. Be not of flesh to experience the source. Be not of environment to experience the source. Be not of ignorance to experience the source. For the source is not of a world. Okay, why does manifesting has its pros and cons then? Manifesting has its pros because, oh my gosh, you're utilizing your spiritual gifts. And some people are seeing things very, very quickly, right? But how can it have cons then? Well, if you're prioritizing things of the flesh, physical things, well, part of divine law number 7 is God ain't in no environment. So why are you prioritizing materialistic type of things, environmental type of things? That's not the God in you. That's the ego in you. If you want to manifest money, that's the ego in you. If you shift the perspective, the energy, and the vernacular to say, my goal is to see myself with abundance, the abundance that I know I already have based on God delivering that in my existence, oh, that's a much deeper manifestation. That's a much deeper manifestation. Because abundance will translate to whatever reality you're in. Just manifesting money only works for America. How egotistical is that when there are an infinite amount of dimensions and way more realities than just this? You're telling me you're going to limit all your power to just America, to American currency? Why not ask for abundance? Because abundance translates to wherever you go. See, no one makes that connection. That's why it has its pros and cons. And I'll use a money example. And a money example is, I'm going to tell you why manifesting money, currency, is one of the hardest things you can do rather than manifesting abundance. And this is going to blow your mind. No one has ever talked about it like this. What if everyone in your city is broke? Because what is money? What is currency that you're trying to manifest? How do you get it? Well, currency is man-made and is given to you by another man, which means in order for you to manifest currency, you have to have somebody else's free will be in alignment with what you're attempting to manifest. However much you are choosing to manifest. Oh my goodness, first of all, no one ever explained that to you in that way. I know that for a fact. So Nadiie, what you're telling me is, when I try to manifest $100, I'm not actually manifesting the paper of $100. I'm manifesting a person to give me the $100. Yes. Because, and how many experiences have $100 just flown within the wind and landed at your feet? 1 to none. 1 to none. So in order for you to try to manifest currency, you're actually manifesting another person. And people and souls have free will. So now let's expand it. It's going to blow your mind even more. When you're trying to manifest money, what if your entire city is broke or town is broke? No one has the money to give you. Then that means you have to wait for a person from the next town over or a person from the digital age to try to come after you to try to give you the money. Now, what if you're a dickhead and your energy doesn't even allow for attraction and they just all say no? Well, that's another thing. But in this example, you've been expressing love. You've been listening to these divine laws. Nadiie, I've been applying the information that you've been giving me. All right, how do I manifest money? Okay, if you are in a place that's not like a New York or a California or an Atlanta, you're like in the middle of nowhere, you have to explain your scenario to your soul and say, hey, I'm not trying to manifest currency. I'm going to try to manifest abundance. And if within that abundance of me attempting to manifest guides me to actually receiving currency, I have to be patient because my town is not indicative of people offering money. So that means a person from a town over has to come over and give it to you. But if you doubt is spiritual offing yourself. That's what doubt is, spiritual offing yourself. That is how not good, not beneficial doubt is. So let's say you did everything right and you manifest that person from a town over and the person is on their way to try to give you some money. Let's say that person is actually going to go to a coffee shop that you frequent. This is because remember, God works in opportunities. Remember I told you that now is the only opportunity in divine law number 5. Now is the only opportunity God gives you. So an opportunity God might give you if you successfully manifest that soul to give you that money is God will manifest that soul to have a business meeting in a coffee shop that you frequent. And when you go into that coffee shop that you frequent, you might see a new face there. It's now your divinely guided action that's going to be introducing yourself. If you don't introduce yourself or you don't walk up to the opportunity God's giving you, then hey, sucks for you. And straight like that. Because God don't give handouts. Miracles aren't even handouts. Remember, miracles don't give you nothing. They bring you back to zero and tell you choose again. God does not give handouts. Why do you think even Jesus had to work 33 years, technically 32 years, before he actually became a Christ on his 33rd? That should show everybody. Look, if it made it into controlling religions, that should already tell you that some truths can't be, hidden. You have to work for yours. Even if it's a day, 3 days, my 7-day course, aka 7-day step course, because you can do it in 1 day. Regardless, you have to have some divinely guided action. And we're going to conclude with this. Why does miracles not translate into enlightenment? Well, miracles does not translate, or magic particularly, even miracles don't translate. Magic and miracles do not translate into enlightenment. Why? Okay, in order to find miracles, you have to be of love. That's perfectly fine. But you also have to recognize that love is just a piece of the source, for the source is infinite. You have to have love. You have to have discipline. You can really stop there, love and discipline. You can have love but no discipline. A crackhead loved the drug, but isn't disciplined to stop. Does that make him enlightened just because he loves something enough? No. Love and discipline. discipline to your love, discipline to God, all of that, right? So, why does magic not translate into enlightenment in conclusion? Well, magic does not translate into enlightenment because you knowing a magic trick and can pull a hat out of a rabbit and a rabbit out of a hat ain't actually going to make you a better person.